In this video, we're going to go over the data reflection for Math 6 Snapshot number 2. We will look at it in terms of district perspective. All right, let's go ahead and see what standard was tested on this snapshot. In the Math a grade 6 snapshot 2, there were 4 standards tested on this snapshot. Out of the 4 standards, one standard stood out the most to us, and that will be 6.5b. With 6.5b, only 59, or rounded up, 60% of our students got it right. And this is from a district perspective, so we're looking at 4607 students. All right, with that said, let's talk about what 6.b stands for. It stands for solve real number problems to find one is to find the whole given a part and percent. 2 is to find the part given the whole and percent. 3 is to find the percent given the part and the whole. All of that including the use of concrete and pictorial models. All right, that's a lot to unpack. But let's see how many questions went along with this particular standard 6.5b. All right, with 6.5b, we were looking at least 3 questions went along with the standard. What are those questions? Right here, from 7 to 9. All right, out of those 3 questions, where are my lowest percentage out of those 3 questions? Well, perhaps let's talk about where my at least something positive or good to highlight. Well, I will highlight question number 9. We're looking at 73%. Again, this is a district overview out of the 4,607 students. All right. Well, then where are my other lowest questions? It has to be 7 and 8. 7, we're looking at the answer is 34, but only 51% got it right. And then this one for the question number 8, 55% answered J correctly. Let's dive in and look at those 2 questions. With question number 7, again, as I said, 34 is the answer. Only 51% got it right out of the entire district. That makes me kind of wonder. So in this question here, it's straightforward. We want to know 40 members are given. Want to know 85%. So only 85% of the members attend the Saturday meetings. Determine the number of members who attend Saturday's meeting. 34 is the answer. But here's what I noticed. As I was going through several campuses and looking at students' individual input for this particular question, I noticed some student inputted the answer as 0.34. or 340 or 3,400. And it makes me think it could be that they are doing some mathematical errors when they're multiplying or dividing, whatever. Or it can also be that their place values they just need help with their place value. So for example, let's say that the students have 34 as the answer. Let's say they have 34, but if they input it this way, 0.34, which is why they're getting this, which is why it's wrong. I also notice the students are inputting it this way, 34. Well, they're leaving this blank, which means that in the system, it would count as 340, which is also another areas where they could have messed up. I don't know, I'm just thinking. And I also noticed that students can answer 34 here, meaning you're leaving 2 places open, which means that could be the reason why they're getting 3,400. I don't know, but this would be a good time to have conversation with your team about place values. A good opportunity to have conversation about place values and discuss areas of how you can address to help your students narrow down the areas of mistake and narrow down areas where we can help them with. All right, let's talk about question number 8. With question number 8, we were given a set up percentage, and then we given specifically, it says 64 y squares, how many total squares? It's a proportional question, no big deal. All right, so all we had to do here, since we're dealing with total square, and we also know 64 was given, and that is 60% here. I'm going to do it like this. And we have 64 here over x. Okay, so my first instinct will be, hey, cross multiplication. Then again, I remember this is math 6. Math 6, you don't do cross multiplication. You do scale up or scale down. In this particular case, we will scale up. It looks like by 4. Therefore, multiply by 4. We get 400 as the correct answer. How many of students chose 400? 55% of our students chose 400. Okay, that makes us stop. As coordinators, we're thinking we like to encourage you to have this conversation to discover some areas where we can address it. Okay, my next concern is, well, this is a second choice here is 26%. Why will student go with 160? Maybe students added all the percentage here, 28, 32, 16, 24, which adds up to 100%. And then they took the 64, added on there to get 164, which is somewhat close to 160. And they probably went with the H. I don't know. Maybe not, but this is a good time to have those collaborative conversation with your teams to narrow down some areas where you can help your teachers and help your students. All right, so we have gone over question 7 and question 8. Now, what are the coordinators going to do moving forward, which is now what? With now what, let's talk about what have we done or what have we added in our curriculum. All right, so we added a tech application resource to reinforce 6.5B because 6.5B was our lowest standard. So I added this right here. It's a Desmond activity, and this Desmond activity will students will find part to whole ratio of plants on the farm and use these ratios to determine the equivalent fraction decimals of percent representation. Highly encourage you to do this to address 6.5B and to reinforce their learning with this particular standard. We also, before adding this Desmond activity, there are things on there already, and this is a unit 2. Okay, in unit 2, we have some activities coding lessons here for you, some matching activities there for you, another Desmond activity, and also coding with Ozobot as well. So please explore multiple resources available for you in addition to the one added most recently to help you reinforce, to help your students reinforce their learning for 6.5B. Lastly, we encourage you to incorporate the use of the griddable here so we can address place value because we know place value. We believe that's one area that students are having some problem with. So perhaps you can use this here in your classroom as an activity where you can put the griddable on the desk where they have to report it, just to make sure they also report the answer correctly and understand the place value, encourage the student to move in the right directions. All right, well, this concludes the video. The purpose of this video was to encourage you ICs and teachers to have these conversations, to find areas to help your students. And we just want the best of your students. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and we'll be glad to help you. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.